individual man, because I get a mental picture of a person who was, he fell from grace. Oh, he fell from grace. He was caught. He was a person of some kind of standing, okay?
Who is the person?
He felt as if he couldn't be caught, or he shouldn't be caught, because of who he was. And he covered up and he covered up. And I feel he actually took the life of a lady. He took the life of a lady. Now whether this, I feel as if the lady was known to him. Maybe a mistress, a wife, and he was well-to-do, so to speak, in his day, and he never felt as if he could be caught, incarcerated. He was too high up in his life, but he was caught, and he was not caught on a technicality. He was caught and rightly brought to justice in the sense of his incarceration, and he did lose his physical life. He was hung. He was also one of the many that he was known to be saying, as he was led out of this incarceration, ready to face his judgment, God as he would, because he was quoting God all the way, I feel, to the gallows or what have you.
What was he saying? You said he was saying, and you were about to say a sentence.
I feel it was, forgive my evil for what I practiced, for what I did in my deeds.
You seem to have got quite a strong link with this entity or spirit.
Yes.
And what you've said is quite anecdotal. Do you know who this is? What's the person's name?
At this moment, I don't.
You don't?
I keep on asking Sam kindly to see if he can interact and find out who he is.
Because it's interesting if I can historically check, because we have a lot of records of the people connected with this building.
Okay.
It's interesting if I can verify something that you say. But
I know, thank you, Sam. I know the first name connected here is John.
Thank you.
John. And Sam's pointing that with me. Yes, that's the name.
Thank you, Sam.
Good. Also, around the time of many incarcerations waiting to go, this man walked to the gallows. It's like as if he walked with the symbol of faith, the cross. He was holding a cross, and he asked priesthood to come and, in his own way, bless him before he met his maker.
Like the last rites?
Yes. And it was totally in this man's life, in his physical life, this was the opposite of what people outside this jailing system would know of him. They'd say, they'd be shocked and surprised of the way he lived his life. Right. And yet he repented only moments before. But he did ask for some kind of blessings from the clergy. And it wasn't forthcoming until virtually the last minute for his salvation, as he felt.
Do you think now is a good time for us to turn the lights off?
I do, yes.
Okay.
So far, it had been an incredible night as the cells of Derby Gaol revealed a cruel and desperate history. We were all unnerved by thoughts of what would happen when the lights went out. The moving cross and my emotional outburst were enough to fill some crew members with doubts as to whether they could remain in the jail for the rest of the night. Those who stayed wanted to go back to the cell that seemed to be incredibly active.
What's that smell of flowers?
What?
Come in. It's not me.
Oh,
there
my
is
God.
as well, yeah.
Smell this, smell this.
Oh,
yes.
That's roses.
Yes, there's roses,
It is.
yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh,
isn't
my
it strong?
God. What a lovely smell.
I'll have to check everyone's perfumes now.
I'm not wearing
No, I know your perfume because we talked about it earlier.
I'm not.
It's
I'll have to
fading a
check.
bit now, isn't it? Or is it my
Yes, it is, you're right.
It's fading, it's almost gone.
Gone completely.
Wow.
Gone now, completely.
Gone
I've never
completely.
ever smelled.
No, we've been in here loads of times today and that smell wasn't in. He has not been in here at all. Hasn't.
No. Isn't that amazing? That was weird.
The interesting thing with allegedly paranormal scents or phantom smells is that they dissipate very quickly, and that did within about 2 or 3 seconds. It completely went.
Yeah.
And smells don't do that naturally, not when they're that
No,
strong.
they
linger a bit.
Where?
Right between Jason and Derek.
Something here between us.
Orb.
It was interesting that this strange moving light, an orb, was seen at the same time as everyone was smelling roses.
Shall we now? I think what we should do is Mark and Ian. Are you happy to stay in here?
Yeah.
And Derek and I will, and Jason will go in the other cell. All right. So we'll go out, and Jason, if you can shut them in.
Yeah, I
Good luck,
will.
guys.
Good luck, guys.
That was that's strange, that smell. But I do need, in order to eradicate any possible natural causes, I need to check everyone's perfume, male and female.
Okay.
I hear that wind. Oh, it really is dark, and I'm glad as well that I'm not anywhere and that Mark's seeing. Are you seeing anything?
I don't know what I'm looking for if I see an orb.
It'll be a little pinpoint of light.
I think I've just seen an orb actually.
What was it like?
Bottom left, it was just like a tiny comet,
Yeah,
and it just went dead slowly from.
that's exactly it.
But it wasn't that clear. That's the
No.
only thing.
I think that smell was interesting.
Very.
I have smelled paranormal, for want of a better word, smells lots of times in different places. It's probably the most commonly experienced thing for me, and I've experienced lots of different smells.
Oh, the
Did you-
roses.
Did you smell it as well?
Oh, yes, very much
That
so,
was
yeah.
very strong. It was really pungent,
Yeah.
and then it dissipated like that. That's
Yes.
it for me.
Just explain what Mark and Ian are doing next door.
Well, Mark and Ian are trying an experiment of automatic writing, which, if you go back to the Victorian era when mediums were very popular and spiritualism was extremely a good pastime for everybody, they used to try and do automatic writing whereby they had a piece of blank paper and a pen, close your eyes, ask a spirit to write through them. Now, a lot of this is illegible and nonsense, and that's probably what we'll get. But it's interesting to see if anything they come out with fits in with historical records that we can check. They may get nothing. I'm very surprised if they get anything at all. But if they do, it's worth having a look.
I've actually, talking about this subject, I have actually seen a person instrumented actually in front of my very eyes, actually doing pages and pages of very intricate, very articulate, very pronounced words where the person had no, let's say, didn't have the intellect to be able to put down all this stuff on papers, I've actually seen it.
You have. I haven't seen it done. I've examined them after they've been done.
Yeah.
If you take, you all know about the case of Borley Rectory, the most famous psychical research case in history. They had literally pages and pages and pages, and they actually ended up using wallpaper because it was continual, the back of wallpaper to write on because there was so much coming out. And I think it's fair to say a lot of it was rubbish, but some of it made sense. It's like everything, it's open to interpretation and open to analysis of how much of it is right and how much of it is wrong. But it's interesting, it's another research tool that we use.
I'm just going to get up and stand up and have a little look. Okay. See if... Oh, is that you? That's you. Right.
Did you just point at me then?
No.
No.
I'm pointing at the door.
Convinced. No. Oh my God!
What?
I've just seen a fantastic. That must have been an orb.
Where?
It went right across that. Right, I know that they exist now. That was bizarre.
Okay. Did it go
was
past
so
me?
obvious.
Yeah.
I wonder how Mark and Ian are doing next door.
Yeah.
Probably bored stupid.
Well, I don't think so. I think I know it's daft and it's silly, but I'm sitting here and I'm getting frustrated
Why?
because nothing is happening in here.
Yeah.
We smelt those flowers.
Yeah, everything's
the
happening in
cross
that
was,
cell.
everything is happening in that room.
And
I mean,
stuff
I
with
would
the camera.